The world is going crazy, or at least it seems like it. But what's actually happening? Well, let me tell you. Firstly, I want to say that everything I'm saying in this video is meant to educate you, to make you aware. It is to help free you from the control tendrils that seek to hijack your energy, your life force, and instead take your power back from these things, away from the news cycle, away from the groups that want you to fail, so that we can impact our own life positively. Always remember, information is power. The more you know, knowing things should go into the synthesis of your awareness of reality, or what you perceive to be reality, so we can increase our consciousness and rise above. A free person, a free soul, is able to act independently of emotions, to act independently of ideology or control systems, to act in alignment with their soul's purpose and what will bring the most good to them, to their evolution, and the people around them. This is our goal with our understanding of where we are and what is happening. It seems that this world is swiftly dissolving into an even more intense appearance of chaos. Most people are completely bought into the narrative of the day-to-day, myself included sometimes, if I allow it to get the best of me. We've all been there. World events have been happening for a long, long time. One would say the entire course of history. There are always events happening. There's always chaos to some degree. It is the nature of our world. It may feel like the chaos is more in some periods and less in some periods, and you would be correct. Today, we currently have access to so much information with technology, so much so that things can seem just downright crazy. We're constantly bombarded with new videos and new stories and new things that grab our attention because we're always plugged in. The human being is not designed to be reacting to all this stuff, to take in all the news and information from everywhere across the world. Whatever you think about the state of the world right now, it seems like everything is changing, but it's now changing at a faster and faster pace. So that's where we are. Where we are in the historical timeline of this world, we've had relative peace and safety in our times. The lifetimes of us and our parents and our grandparents, World War II was some quite intense chaos. But that was really the last kind of major thing that impacted a load of people. I'm sure that through all of these world events, through all the chaos, there have been people who want to wake up their fellow man, not to be involved, not to be drawn in to these things. But it is a cycle that repeats itself. And we will see that for as long as the world exists. Why do people get drawn in? Why is it a societal thing that happens like that? Most people are not aware of how the world is actually working, how the world really works. And so they get drawn into the appearance of chaos. So how do most people view the world? Well, this is the default, normal, rational worldview, which says we are part of a very intricate society made of things. Man is an object surrounded by other objects, and that object goes through all the other objects, reacting, logically analyzing, and that's how we kind of perceive these things. Physical objects, right? This is a kind of mechanical interpretation of reality. It says we are these meat machines surrounded by non-sentient objects, table, rock, grass, trees, non-sentient beings, and we human beings are the only sentient forces in this world. The rationality of correct thinking in our world in modern times, it's developed and organized through this use of narrow logic. that's based solely on this kind of mechanical interpretation of reality. This worldview that we're brought up in, and if you continue to have that worldview, it will have you ill-equipped to deal with the world, because it is not what is actually really happening. This rational view will have you endlessly reacting, and therefore easily be able to be controlled. This worldview says that objects and sentient humans are all interacting in a big mix. Events are random and happening all around us, and then we have to logically and rationally deal with that by reacting. That's the basic interpretation of reality that most of us used to believe, and most of us do believe now. This world is not what it seems. Everything that is delivered to us on the world stage is part of an elaborate play that has been determined beforehand. What seems to be random, and these random events are not so. The real reality is spiritual. We are souls, incarnated here in a physical body in order to learn. And part of these lessons require us not to get stuck in the world around us. Do not get sucked into the world itself. That's one of the lessons we have to learn. We are beyond this world. Our awarenesses, the souls that awareness is connected to, is beyond this world. This does not mean that we ignore this world or we check out of this world, but it does mean that we have to remember that we are much more than it. We are not just this little physical meat box rolling around a physical reality, and that's it. That's all there is to this existence. That is not the case. We have to remember that we are spiritual and we are outside. We are connected to the outside of this reality. We must understand that and never forget our real divinity and what the grand purpose is. If you're worried about the minutiae of what happens on one particular day and you're following the headlines and get sucked into this, that, it's because you've lost the zooming out grand perspective. I also want to share the perspective that it's not really possible these days to be a monk in the mountains and just ignore what's going on. Why is this? Well, as the masses of people all move energetically and emotionally to one position or the other, if you're sensitive or you're spiritually aware, you'll begin to feel that. And I'm sure a lot of you have. We're, at the moment, current events, we're feeling a little bit uneasy, I would say, at the very least. I do not think we should completely remove ourselves from this world. I don't think we can. I believe that we have a capacity and a duty as heroes to exact our divine blueprint upon the world and bring about order in alignment with God's will for us. To do that, we need to take back our attention and our power, which is what this video is all about. The mass projection of attention affects our world because our world is energetic. It is not just this physical reality. One particular belief structure or reality tunnel that many people direct their life force towards will begin to manifest in physical reality. This can create structures, governments, groups, buildings, technologies, laws, economic effects, the list goes on. Because of this, even if we are aware, let's say, of the grander picture, we have to walk down from the mountains, the isolated areas, to descend into the depths of society, to swim in its waters, to not be consumed by it, and to use the understanding of energy and mentality to stay true to yourself, act in a righteous manner, organize amongst others who feel the same, and positively impact the world when others around you are losing their heads. That's our role. This does not mean that you have to participate in the energy stealing narratives and other psyop events. There's a distinction there. My recommendation, what I aim to do, with all of this going on, cultivate an emotionally detached, informed, and intentional mentality. A conscious awareness that can always have a broad, eagle-eye perception over the appearance of events unfolding in front of me. To be free of energetic structures that would want me to act in a certain way if something happened. I may do that thing, but I do it as the result of intentional, thoughtful, and emotionally unreactive motivations that align with what I think is true and morally right, as I've come to that conclusion outside of what the narrative, what the emotional reaction wants you to be. When you have all that within yourself, and it's unshakable, your energy can influence others. We can join forces with other people who want to impart their positive, freedom-oriented reality tunnels and energy. Reality is a competing mix of reality tunnels. Whoever has the strongest or most numerous group of energies all believing the same thing will eventually push their reality onto the societal reality. You may wish for more peaceful times, but these times offer us a more intense training ground for the soul development that we are here for. Can you smile in the face of perceived danger? Can you keep your total trust in God? Can you truly know that whatever happens is meant to be, and thus relinquish yourself of all of this lower energy forces of thinking that is all intended to control you and make you forget what you truly are? Can you leave the labyrinth once and for all? That's what it's about. I also think it's important to mention that we are in a time of all being revealed. We're in the apocalypse. And I don't mean this as a fear-mongering doomsday thing. The word apocalypse comes from apocalypsis, a Greek word, which literally means uncovering or revealing. It usually meant a revelation, a disclosure, or an unveiling of hidden knowledge. That is what is happening now. We're in an apocalypse. This is a good thing. This is a great positive thing. Evil, across the board, is having its actions brought out into the light. All of this information and knowledge is coming out for everyone to see. You can find it online. You can ask an AI about it. There's all these alternative media sources. All of this was hidden before. Gone are the days when all of these shadowy events and forces could work in the background without anyone knowing for years and years. Would you rather be in those boring times, just unaware lemmings, where everything looked fine, but behind the scenes there was stuff going on? Or would you want to be where we are today, where everything's being revealed, and there's the appearance that this is getting worse, but what that is information being revealed? And I would rather know about that stuff than be in this fake safety where everything's hidden. So of course there's going to be turmoil. But the grander perspective is that there are old, entrenched belief structures, control systems, and negative forces, let's say, that are crumbling before our eyes. So that's good. The turmoil that is happening is what we have to go through to get to a better society, on average, where things are more aligned with justice, morals, and the truth. So we have to strengthen ourselves. We have to go through the storm and understand that this is what that is. There's no use clinging to wishing that it was going to how it used to be, because it's not. It's not how the unfolding of events works. But we shouldn't want what is past and behind us. We should want something better. We should reach for something better. We should rise for something better. So, that was quite a lot to consider. These are the key concepts that I think are the most relevant. And when you understand them, you'll be able to navigate the craziness of this world better, in a more informed way, and a more enjoyable way. So, as I've said before, we are more than just our physical bodies. We are immortal beings who have lived through many of these life and death cycles. Many cultures speak of reincarnation. There's concepts of blood memories, instincts. There's spiritual heritage. All of them point towards this truth that you may have felt in yourself before, that this round of life is not the only one that our awareness is linked to. This is just one go around. Okay? This reality is constructed. It is a simulation. There's too much evidence of this. If you're interested to really get into the depths of that, I recommend going to Jason at the Archaics channel and looking into that. He's a legend. But we are not just these flesh bodies going through an entirely physical world, as most people, the rationalistic, deterministic point of view. There's an unavoidable relationship between our mind, our mental thoughts, and the reality that you experience, such that we have to be connected to it. Via our nervous systems, or brains, or soul, in some form, there's a connection there. Like we are plugged into a simulation. And it doesn't have to be a plug thing. But there is a simulation that we can affect through thought, and with the rational point of view, that would not be possible if we were just a flesh and blood organism going through a physical reality. There would be nothing linking our thoughts to the world around us. But that's not what we observe. That's not what we see. So understanding that we are in a simulation, and understanding that this awareness that we have is not connected to just this one physical life form. There's two big realizations there. They should completely change your relationship to fear, to death, to suffering. It's never the end. These things that you worry about, it's never the end. There's no finality in this life. So we don't have to be afraid of it. Really. Even if we're afraid, that never helps what we want not to happen. So we have to let go, and we have to realize, okay, simulation of some kind, this is not my only life. Therefore, the chaos of the world should not be able to penetrate you, because it's not actually real. In the sense that the logical analysis mentality would have you think that it is. It's not one life and then it's gone forever. We need to protect it. That is the appearance of this reality, but it's not the case. Esoteric books, they all hint at this stuff. If you do any sort of research, there are people far smarter than me, far more spiritual than me, who have got to this place of realizing that this reality is just not what it seems. And as soon as you really internalize that, you'll begin to see it. And it's a better existence to know the truth. It's always better to know the truth than be hoodwinked by false things that are usually there to control you. So reality tunnels. We are part of the larger society, which will go the way that it goes. Within that, each individual has great free will within their personal world, within their personal reality tunnels. We can choose what we believe, what we do, where we place ourselves. all of this forms our personal reality tunnel. We have control over that. Our imagination and the mental thoughts that we have, the mental acts and our imagination matter a lot. The simulation is affected by what we believe, what we imagine, and what we visualize. Worlds within worlds exist. And even if you're purely scientifically minded, the quantum research has kind of gone into that world a little bit. There's understanding that, wow, there's much more in the possibility of timelines than we think, and our actions affect all of these things. It's not just, even our thoughts affect these things. It's not just like, oh, meat sack going through physical world. It's not the case. We lose when we allow our personal reality tunnels to be absorbed and dragged into the larger society's tunnel, which is always going to be engaged in fear, low energy, failure, scarcity, control, and all the things like that. So our reality tunnel can get sucked into that. And through our actions, our thoughts, we can split away from that as well. So that's our responsibility, to hold our reality tunnel away from the mainstream narrative BS that occurs. The reason they want you to be involved with the mainstream is because it hijacks your attention. Your attention and focus is the direction of the flow of your energy. Think about that one for a while. Your attention and focus is the direction of the flow of your energy. If they control that, they control you. They can literally funnel your energy towards their goals, consume your energy, and otherwise disempowering you because you're leaking that energy everywhere. Every event, every headline, every narrative is designed to grab this away from you. You can be aware and informed of the reality, the greater reality, the societal reality that we are inevitably linked to, and then focus your attention on other things. They will always try to distract you so that you can't build your own life, or deceive you and get your attention away from the truth. There's a large bug swirling around me. Be gone! Be gone! Alright. Distract me, see? It's trying to distract me from telling you this information because it knows how powerful it is. So they're always going to try to distract you so that you can't build your own life, so they can deceive you and get you away from the truth. Whatever it is. If you're distracted and feeding into what they prefer you to think about, you're getting away from the main point of things. The real point of things. This can obviously happen in many different ways. They would love for you to be distracted by the messiness and the drama of the world. They would love for you to do that. They would love for you to watch their TV shows and their movies and follow their celebrities and all of this stuff. What is the underlying thing with all this? Your attention. They want it because they know how powerful that it is. They want that so that you get swept in their reality tunnels, and so that you forget your innate divine characteristics and what we're really here to do. As an immortal soul, you have an ability to turn thoughts into physical reality. We've all done it. We've created things. We've thought about something we would like and then sought that out in the world and built it and ran into it, relationship, opportunity, whatever it is. We do it all the time. if they can hijack many different people's creative energy of thoughts into thinking things like war is inevitable, the economy is going to crash, X is going to happen, then that literally increases the chances of that happening. So that's why they do it. Instead, you need to focus your attention and energy on visualizing good for yourself, positive things, the outcome that you would want to happen. In that sense, that will increase the chances of those things happening. Your attention is the water that grows these things either way. Everyone is constantly building their reality. It's just most people are not aware that that's happening. Most people are not aware that they're building the reality that's been given to them. And they're just following it along like lemmings. And that reality is not something that you want to be building for yourself, but it's what they want you to build. They want you to build your own prison, really. Reaction or action. These are the two choices we have. We can choose to be constantly reacting to the external, the appearances of what is around us. If we are reacting, they can predict, do something externally because they hope that we're going to react in a certain way. This is what is done to control the masses. Are your actions the result of your innate desires and intentions, real things, or are they a reaction to an external event, and has your reaction been given to you in a way? The first will bring you what you want. The latter will lead you down a tumultuous path into ruin in various ways. So we can react or we can act. You will be at your weakest when you exist in the frequency of fear. We should never have fear, no matter the circumstances. If you truly want to have the best chance to do anything, then you should banish fear entirely. Fear never helps the situation that you're scared of. It doesn't. It only weakens us. That is why it's used as a tool that they employ to scare the masses, to bring fear into the hearts of people, to control you. If you're scared of an outcome happening and you think that that's going to happen, you don't want it to happen, they can control you. Because all they have to do is make you fear X is going to happen, so you better comply with our Y. It's because of fear. If you don't have fear, that control system is not there. Easy. If you're scared, you won't speak up, you won't act out or rebel or just say, excuse me, mate, but that's not right. If you're too scared, you're not going to do that. And so it's easy to control a population. You're a sheep. If you allow fear to control deep down what you know you should do. You're sheep. Are you a sheep? No. You're an immortal soul who has awareness and consciousness to do what is right, irrespective of fear. Okay? Fear is just a paper tiger that goes away. You just blow it away within yourself. There may be consequences that we never want to intentionally visualize, but whatever happens, happens. Acting out of fear because you're scared of those potential consequences is a slave mentality. And it doesn't lead to your spiritual expansion. Some of the greatest heroes we've ever known have acted knowing they're going to their deaths. But on some level, they knew that their spirit would live on. It does live on. There should be no fear of death itself. Because this is not the end, as I've explained to you. This is not the final curtain call. This is not the final end reality. And there's something in heroes that know that, and that acting in heroism and doing those acts independent of what's going to happen to this physical form, lives on greater than just this physical form. Even if nothing ever happens to you, you'll old age, you'll die of old age eventually. Same position. So it's inevitable that this physical body will get old, flesh and bones, returns to the earth. So what? You can let that control you. It happens to everyone. So don't let fear control you, is my point in that. I will not be afraid of this large bug buzzing around my head. No fear within me. Go away, please. So, what would my recommendations be for important things to do in order to help stay sane in this world as much as it is possible? As a short list for these things that I'm going to mention, make sure you're filling your time with them instead of doom scrolling, worrying about things, having your attention and energy stolen from you. Just try to avoid it. You can and you will. Get off your phone. A very obvious one. But you should simply get off social media for the most part if you find yourself being drawn into it. Everyone's seen those images of people, or those cartoons, right? Someone on their phone and their heads are down and their energy is being sucked into this little portal. Everyone's seen those drawings. That's what's happening. If everything is energy and your attention and energy is just going into this little thing in front of you, mind control. So put it away. You can be aware, you can see what's happening, and then dedicate your time and energy to what you can influence. What can you control? What can you not control? Until I'm implemented as dictator, I can't control what the government is going to do. What random violent people are going to do. I can't control that until I'm dictator. But until then, I have things that I can control in my own life and things that I can't control in the broader societal level. If I'm going to waste time and energy crying about something I cannot influence, how foolish is that? So focus your attention and energy on what you can change, what you can influence. Events that might not even be in the same country as you, for the most part. Okay, it's happening, all right, put the phone down, build your life still, improve yourself, meditate, read a book, all these things, some I'm going to mention now. But getting sucked in to the phone is not how you save the world. It's not how you save yourself. It's not how you can help. It is how you can have your attention and energy hijacked so that you don't do anything positive with your life and you get stuck and trapped within the appearances of samsara. And we don't want that. So, time in nature. Heavenly, amazing nature. Thank you, nature. Peace is found in forests and rivers and lakes and oceans and nature, mountains. Whatever nature you have access to, the more pristine, the more untouched, the better. Because you will find clarity and guidance when you're in the frequency of nature, whether it's God specifically talking to you, whether it's the trees who give you some information, or whether it's the waters that soothe you that you're swimming in and then you have a revelation. All of that happens much higher and you get much more higher spiritual guidance when you're in nature. And that will be required in these chaotic times. What do I do? You're not going to figure it out getting sucked in your phone indoors. Will it come to you when you're standing in the sun communing with the trees. Seriously, what current events? What are you talking about? The tree looks beautiful right there. That's always accessible to you. Okay? So spend more time in nature. Exercise, physical training. Sometimes all you can do is just burn off that excess energy that has come up within you. So make yourself physically tired so that the brain stops its overthinking, stops its worrying. When you deplete your energy, your brain doesn't really have any leftover resources to worry and overthink and get in these traps that we may unfortunately allow ourselves to get in sometimes. So train. It can be good to build strength. You're going to need to be strong for whatever happens, right? I don't think that the current physical societal structures that we rely on and we think is normal, I don't think they'll be around for forever. They won't be. Things change. Do we have fear because of that? Am I going to be worried about it? No. But if things are going to change in that regard, we should learn how to be strong, how to be physically strong. You never know if you may need to hike many miles carrying something heavy. That's a fairly reasonable ask of a human being in its life. If you've never trained that before, you don't want to be the person that is not physically prepared. So exercise and training in this regard can serve multiple purposes. Walking a lot outside, of course, physical exercise in nature, double whammy. Amazing. Bring peace to your mind. Reading. Instead of filling your mind with headlines and videos and takes from people. What's this take? Well, your take is silly. My take is much better. Take. They're taking your energy away from you. Okay? So read something better. Learn more. Fill your mind with quality information. Increase your understanding of philosophies and the world so that you're better equipped to navigate it. Great rulers were educated in ruling, in philosophy, in mental patterns, in thoughts. This is all education. Because information will free you. And information is power. In all of the world that can be chaotic and change and everything, what's the constant? This here, your mind, your brain, once you have knowledge, no one can take that away from you. It's one of the most beautiful things. It's the most valuable thing because of that. No one can take knowledge and understanding away from you. And that's why we should develop it. And reading books is a great way to do that. Also, the act of just reading a print book, it's innately calming compared to the dopamine tech world that we are unfortunately involved in. So sitting down in peace and just reading a book is very calming and regulating to the nervous system, which is great for you. Meditation. So focusing your attention and having a set time to work on the control of your focus is essential. If everything that they're doing is to try to hijack your attention, how can we train that not to happen? Well, meditation, where you sit down and you focus on focusing. It's essentially what it is. You're practicing the skill of focus. And it's easier for your focus to be taken away if you don't train that skill. So with practice, you will find it easier to focus away from the craziness of the world. Once you've consistently practiced observing your thoughts, observing your emotions, and how do I just bore in on one focused thing at a time. That's the skill of meditation. Meditation also under this umbrella. It includes focused spiritual practices that increase your spiritual power. So it's spirit training, basically. Strengthening your aura, which will protect you, visualization of what you want to happen. It's when you have a focused session of meditation to think about what you want to happen and concentrate 100% on that. That's more powerful than just having fleeting thoughts about it when you're brushing your teeth or going about your day-to-day business. Having a focused time is actually good for that. So that's what meditation can be. Sending out positive ether signals. Just sitting there and thinking positive thoughts about yourself, about your loved ones, about everyone, and just beaming them out. If you're a positive frequency generator, right? That's what we can see ourselves as. That is always going to serve you well. You're always going to have benefits in your life if you do that. So I highly recommend it. Organization. Align with like-minded people and discuss positive, intentional plans to help shift along the world into a more positive state. This is what we have to do. As I said before, I think it is the future that we will have to rely on our communities rather than a government force to look after us. It's how it was before this big government, right? You relied on your tribe, you relied on your people, you relied on your family and the connections you have to your brothers in alignment with you, okay? We've become so atomized and isolated by design. And so you have to start building those connections before chaos can kind of take that away from you. Again, no fear, no anything, but would you want to go into chaos with a network of like-minded brothers or by yourself? I know what choice I would make. So instead of worrying, organize and connect. That's my point here. Have fun. The seriousness of this world can drag you down if you let it. Always make sure that you can make time to crack a smile, have a laugh, and just let go, shake off that heaviness of reality or the appearance of the heaviness. It can be done. Do the things that make your soul feel happy. It's very important. Don't always get stuck in the hard yards, the preparing for things, the worrying about the world. Have fun with it, Laugh in the face of all this BS that's happening. Well, this is crazy. You can do that at any point in time. And the gods smile upon those who can do that thing. It's the mark of a very strong soul, is to not let the appearance of things get in his way. Who are the strongest heroes will smile and laugh as they're being marched to the gallows. As the executioner's sword swings at their neck, they'll be smiling and know that they did their best. And they know that on the other side, there's something for them. And this is not the end. So have a laugh at it. Have a laugh at all this craziness. Why not? What is this? Where are we? It's not that serious. It's not. It's really not. The world is always going to be full of these very high-level, complicated, political, spiritual, societal events that are designed to entrap you. Okay? We must do our best to act in righteousness and fairness, with honor, and in the name of truth. while simultaneously not forgetting our true nature as immortal souls who are here to learn and rise in consciousness. Be in the world, but not of it. Use these world events and transmute them, and allow each happening, each event to springboard you to a higher level of mental control. The worse it appears, the higher the opportunity to bring yourself back to centeredness. Learn to enjoy it all, really. This ultimately brings out the highest frequency possible when you can enjoy all of this craziness. Because it means you've internalized that this is not the final level. This is not the final piece of the puzzle. Thank you for joining me in uplifting the frequency, and farewell for now.